So I figured while I was down at my mom's house, I would take a video and kind of show off the network here, because it's kind of been an ongoing project for a couple of years. They moved in 2007, and then ever since then I've added things and learned along the way. But this is one of the houses that, the house that I started my kind of knowledge gaining quest in. So I'm in the basement here. We can go back outside, maybe, if that suits the point. Probably not. Never mind. Anyway, so it kind of all starts down here in the basement where all the cables go. So if we turn around, you got a ceiling full of cables. Cables go everywhere, and that's normal for a house with the I-beams that go through. We got Ethernet and coax. The white is Ethernet, the black is coaxial, and it's going to this room here that is being used as my nephew's room. All the old VHS tapes that we've since stopped using. Who uses VHS? Even DVD has become not going to work for us anymore. And so we go over, and this is kind of the downstairs, what used to be the downstairs media hangout. My brother spent plenty of hours down here playing Xbox 360 and original Xbox. As you can see over here, we got two of those old black original Xboxes, and they were down here, and we'd play them on this crappy old CRT TV, and that was fine for a long time. But then what happened? We just we needed to plug in more devices, and so eventually, and I don't have the original router here, but we had a little Belkin router here, and then we had I took the Belkin router out because it stopped working well, and we put in what do you call it? A WRT54G, the classic Linksys, Linksys hackable router that everybody used. And I did that because it had DDWRT on it, and I like DDWRT because it's got little features that we can use to do stuff. But then recently, with the network and the internet being what it is these days, they were complaining about that the Wi-Fi wouldn't stay on very long, or it wouldn't work at all. And so we ordered a new TP-Link wireless N, not AC. It's just wireless N, but it's 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. So that was nice. We did that, and we did the DDWRT little upgrade, little flash on that thing, and got it working right. And so that brings better Wi-Fi to the house. We still have cable internet here, so it's still not super good, but it's better than nothing. It's definitely better than DSL. And then over here I've got a 8-port TrendNet green net switch that, now that I'm getting the camera, these are great little switches, and I don't know about power consumption. I haven't had any other ones that are not green net, but they work well. It's gigabit speed, so I learned what gigabit could do a few years ago, and I was like, I'm never going back. This is the way to go for transferring files, and any number and size of file quantity. You need to have a faster speed. Wi-Fi is not going to cut it. And then this machine down here, and the keyboard's there for when you're doing some diagnostic stuff. It's not really necessary. Yeah. But this is a little, let's shorten up here. This is my wife's old desktop PC, and it needs to be dusted off. All this here is dust. It's disgusting. But it's a HP hyper-threaded Pentium 4. So it's not bad at its job. It runs Linux Mint, the desktop version of Linux Mint. I don't even think there is another Linux Mint, but I run that one on there. And it runs a number of things. It runs an FTP server, an SSH server. It shares files on the local network via Samba shares. And I've got one at my house. This one has a 2 terabyte drive for storage, and then it's got I think an 80 gig or a 40 gig. It might be an 80 gig drive just for the operating system. So if the operating system was to die, that drive died, we don't lose all the data, and vice versa. Now, it'd be much worse if we lost all the data, but I have a backup at my house, so it's not really a big deal. It's not a huge concern right now. It just holds all the TV shows and the movies and that we watch, music too. And so this is like the central part. All the cabling, it's a mess. This isn't my house, this is my parents' house, but I've done most of this, like ran the cables. But as the basement, you can tell, is unfinished. It's not. What was a more of a concern to me was that the wiring wasn't all over the floor. I came down here one day a couple of years ago and I cleaned it up and I shortened the cables where I could, and I put that board up, that piece of plywood right there. I put that up and attached all the components to the wall so that they were not sitting on the floor. Then I would attach the server to the wall, but it's kind of heavy. The full desktop doing a job, just humming away. You know, if we lose power, it comes back on and does its job again. I really need a UPS for it, but I can't afford that right now. I don't even have one at my house. Anyway, so this is the kind of the where it all started, figuring it out and going from there. We got network comes in through the DOCSIS 3 modem, then it goes into the router, into the proper port. And I realized, like, if I was super cool, we'd be using something custom built for that too. But these things, I've decided that, at least in my life, a full desktop PC, even if it was a low wattage one, it would still, the power consumption for the year would still not outweigh the cost of, like, you know, having the more expensive machine that I didn't already have running as a, you know, PC style router that does all the cool router jobs, would not outweigh the cost of just running one of these for the small networking tasks that we do. You know, moving files across the network, which can be taken care of with a gigabit switch. Even though this has gigabit, I try to keep all the stuff for the most part on this switch. As you can see, this one's got all the ports full, where this one's got one port remaining, which is good. Anyway, the cables run up and around, and in this basement there are 3 bedrooms. Bedroom there with a bathroom, and then you've got some junk. It's a basement, so that's how it is. And then we go towards the door to leave for the stairs, and my kids are laughing. And then we've got the fan on because it is summer. I've got a port back here. Let's see if we can. There. So there's an Ethernet port right there with a power outlet if you need to have a computer down here. We don't, but it's there, and I don't know what that cable goes to, or it's probably just behind the bed and forgotten. Anyway, yeah, so that goes there. So that goes over back to the router. And the guy that finished off the rooms in the basement was nice enough to run the cable before he drywalled it up, so that was good. And so in each one of these bedrooms down here, there is a port like that. That one's back there. I don't know if anybody's in this bedroom. Let's see. Yeah, nobody's in this bedroom. Okay, so the other port is behind this crib, and I'm not going to move the crib because you know what ports look like. But it's back there. When I first moved in, they were just a hole in the wall with a cable that was kind of covered in drywall mud. So I pulled them out and put jacks on them, put plates on them, and covered them up, and it was all good. But that is something that a lot of people seem like, oh, that's too much work. Let's just run Wi-Fi. And I hate Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is great for doing things that can't be plugged into the wall. But why would you want to sit around and wait? Anyway. Yeah, so that's the basement. There's another one in this other room, but it's all the same thing. So we're going to go upstairs, and I'm going to show off. Oh, wait. So before we go upstairs, I have this blue cable here. This one runs the same place. It runs over through the little floor joists, and then I was able to sneak it up through some of the vent area in there. And that worked out really well because that brings us to, and it'll probably get crazy and noisy up there. My kids are up there playing. So I'm taking a video. I'm making a video. So this one, that one cable down there, it runs to that location. And I prefer the wired connection because it's faster. So this computer used to be on a Wi-Fi dongle, and now it's plugged in. And this one, same thing. Same thing here, only this one's got a 3-port because I've got coaxial and then Ethernet. You really can't see what that is. Anyway, that's low voltage, is one space more if we needed to add more stuff, but that's there. And then there's one in the master bedroom behind the TV. And there is another one back here, though it's not used because my mom doesn't really know the benefits. Oh wait, no, it is used. Never mind. Yeah, so my brother and I ran this. The cables in this room and this room share a space. So there are 3 jacks there. Only one of them is used. And I have some blanking plates at home, but I forgot. I didn't have them when I put that in. So we added that one and the other one. They go up through the ceiling and then over to this closet where we snuck them down. And here they are right here. You can see 2 cables, and they run up into the attic that you can't really see up there. I should turn the light on. But they go from those rooms over there up over to the attic in a hole, and the hole in the attic goes down this closet, down the hole in the floor, and then out the basement floor, or out the basement ceiling, to connect those 2. So every room in this house is wired for Ethernet. So we can have things like smart TVs, which neither of these are, but we can have, what's cool, Raspberry Pis. So that's those lights back there.
Where did you put the little car that you had?
We got one of my old Raspberry Pis. Man, the light. Yeah, Raspberry Pi right there. So that runs Xbox Media Center, and you can stream stuff from the server downstairs to the TVs upstairs. And this is just my dad's house, so none of this stuff is like to my standards exactly. I like the Raspberry Pi 2s. Those are just the old ones that I had that I wasn't using. But anyway, yeah, you can stream stuff, you can download stuff, put it on your server, and then watch it. And that's kind of an updated tour of this network, and I'll make a better video at my house. So.